Hi, my name is Mary Jane Blunt and you're watching my channel.
Hi everyone, today I'm coming again with another full makeup transformation into Mary Jane Blunt. So let's get started because I know it's going to take a long time. I'm going to start with hydrating my face. Remember, it's very important to hydrate your face. And I'm using this Murad Hydration Toner. I'm going to go in with my primer. And I'm going to use a brush this time because I don't want to set a bad example, and it's not good to use your fingers because my brushes, I clean them often so I know for sure they're clean. And with your fingers, you're opening doors and you're touching things when you're out in public, so they're not the most clean regardless if you wash your hands or not, because I took a whole shower before this, so it doesn't matter if you wash your hands. You should always use a brush to set primer in. Now that we're done with that, now we're going to cover our beard because we are boys. Oh, actually, I'm gonna let that dry. And if you're here in the middle or where your chin area is, you want to use the most product because that's where the gray area is. I like tapping it before scrubbing it just so the makeup could go into my pores. But it doesn't matter, you can also just drag it. And you cover your full beard. And you want to make sure you put a lot of product because you want to cover the gray undertones. And you want to make sure you cover down here too, because if you're out in public, it's noticeable, especially if you're moving your head around. So you want to look perfect and make it as perfect as possible. I'm going to add a little more because I can tell that I didn't add enough. And we just want to make sure that we cover all the gray spots. And if you're a boy, you really have to make sure you cover your beard. With the residual part, I like to go under my eye because I have bags and I have dark bags. So I want to cover this dark bag under my eye. And this orange makeup helps it disappear once you add up everything else. We add this orange concealer under our eye to cover this gray bag, and we let it dry. I've never done this part, but I've heard that if you add a little bit of powder, it makes it a little cakey, but it gets into your pores, and it also helps dry the concealer faster. And we're just going to add a little bit just to help it dry a little bit faster. And so when we add the foundation, the orange concealer won't move and the beard will maintain covered. Although I heard that it makes it a little cakey, it's not as to the point where it's unbearable or it ruins your look. So I'm going to try it this one time and see how I like. Oh, and also it helps you apply the foundation a lot faster, so the orange part doesn't move. You're able to hurry up and finish fast. So let's try it and see how we like it. Now we add our foundation and we want to spread it by just tapping our face and not scrubbing. So we're going to beat our face with this sponge. You want to cover your ears, you want to cover your neck. And although we're going to put concealer here for a drag queen, it's better if you cover your whole face with foundation just because you're a boy. So you have to feminize your face as much as possible. And today with my makeup, I'm going to go as much detailed as I can to feminize my face and get the look that I want. And because the video I made in Spanish, my makeup came out really good. I just want to do one in English where my makeup is just as good as that one. So we take our time beating our face and making sure that the foundation is well spread everywhere so it looks perfect. The reason why I'm putting foundation in my eye is because I want to make it as clean as possible for when I add the shadows and do my eyes. And that way I have the space to kind of make the makeup look more smooth. And I'm taking my time beating my face because I want to spread it as best as I can. And although you might think that your ear is going to be covered by your wig, honestly, like your wig, if it moves and then your ear shows, you're gonna look ridiculous if you don't cover it. And same with the neck. So we want to cover our neck with the foundation too because we want our neck to match the face. But I'm going to be bringing it all the way down anyways because I'm also going to do my boobs. And I'm going to have to cover my chest with foundation so it looks perfect and smooth. So I like to put foundation on my chest when I do my boobs also, because I want it to look smooth, clean. When I add the powder, the contour powder, and the highlight, I want it to stay, and the foundation helps. And I'm also going to bring it to my shoulders because I'm going to add highlight here so my shoulders can pop. It's a long process. You have to take your time beating your whole body and face, but it's worth it. That's why you have to start early. I'm starting late again, but that's just because I woke up late and I had to shave. And I only say I started late because I'm planning to film a little more and do more videos for other things. I feel like I'm going to go to sleep really late just doing all of this, but I'm not complaining. I just want to do all of this and edit it and get it out. And I want to make sure I blend it well so it won't look patchy. Because if you're going to do all of this, you want to make it perfect and not do all of this work for nothing or just to look raggedy. Like, that's not the tea. I'm just going to add a little more foundation to my chin area just to help it out a little more. With the ear, you can scrub it just because you want to make sure you get it all the way in. Now that we're done with the foundation part, we're going to go in with the concealer. And I like bringing it all the way up here to feminize my face, and I like to add a little bit right here, and I like to add some in between the lip and my chin, like up, and that's just to take focus away from my chin. And I also add some in the forehead about here like this, and the reason why I do that is because I want to pack the most in the middle. And you want to make sure you're just tapping and not rubbing, because you don't want to rub your makeup off. You want to just, so you want to make sure you're just tapping. You want to make sure you don't rub off the makeup. So tapping is like the best technique that you can do. And it also helps you blend it well and not spread it in the areas that you don't want to spread. You want to add some to your nose. And with the kind of makeup that I do, I like to focus on shadows and highlights. As a drag queen, I have to feminize my face as much as possible. And I know I talk about it all the time, but that's the whole key of doing drag, to impersonate a female but still be yourself. And this is going to highlight your face in this way that helps make it look more feminine. And I'm not done with the concealers because I also like to go with like a lighter concealer. And this time I'm going to go with a liquid one and not a bar. And that's just because the more I highlight, the more it helps with the feminization of my face. And I don't want to bring it all the way down because I want to create like a type of ombre effect in my highlight. That's why it's a little thinner and I don't drag it all the way down. I keep it right here. Because like I said, I want to play with shadows and highlights. And this is also a lighter concealer. And I use also a lot of makeup from juviasplace. And it's because you want to lighten it up as much as possible. And you just want to tap, you don't want to spread it. But you do want to make sure you blend it well. So take your time tapping. Don't get frustrated because patience is key with anything you do. As you can tell, using two really highlights the face, especially if you use one that's more skin-like and the other one that's more white. I feel like that helps with playing with colors and lining it up. And you want to make sure to really get into your eye and not leave any like patches or patchy spots where it looks ugly. You want to make sure you take your time blending. And I like doing faces to get into places where I can, to make sure the makeup is in there. And like I said, take your time blending, be patient, and look at that, feminine. And if you have to do faces, don't be embarrassed. At the end, you're gonna look beautiful. Okay? And now we're going to go in with our green contour. And we contour our face. And I'm going to contour this part to bring my neck, make my neck a little more. And I'm going to contour my bones right here. And I saw Scott Barner do this in Tati's channel. And I'm trying it out. And we're going to bring it out this way so it doesn't spread so much in this area. And you want to make sure with like liquid, with contour creams or foundation or concealer or anything type of cream product, I feel like the best thing you can do is tap it to blend that, because it's the best way to spread it out. Or even if you feel like you're not that well blended, or it's getting like not so sharp in the middle part right here, you can always go back and like a different side of the sponge, not the part where you're using for contour, but like here where it's clean, and just tap back, and you make sure it's like an ombre blend, and then you go back and keep tapping. But you don't want to bring it in. That's what I mean. You just want to stay in the area where you apply the product. And if you do have to go in, you choose an area where it's clean and it's not, there's no contour product that won't ruin your makeup. I also saw Scott Banner do this to Tati, where he put some of the contour product in her ear. So I'm going to try that out too. Maybe it warms it up or something. Because I want to make sure I spread the product evenly. I really love Scott Banner. He's JLo's makeup artist. I use a lot of his tips to do my makeup, along with my brother, because my brother really was the one who taught me makeup. But Scott Banner, I really have seen some of his makeup tutorials, like the one he has with Tati, and I really like a lot of the tricks that he does, because he does makeup for like scenario or movies or stage. So a lot of the tips that I take for doing drag are from him, because I'm doing makeup for stage too. You want to make sure this is well blended so it doesn't look harsh. In that video that he did with Tati, he did this trick with the neck, and he said that it is to make it look skinnier. So I want to try it. And like I said, you only want to tap the parts where you applied the makeup and not spread it around as much. And if you're not satisfied with the blending of the sponge, you can always go in with a brush. I want to make sure it's well blended. The reason why I'm talking about Scott Banner so much is because I want to give a little credit to him, given that he's like someone who I learned makeup tips from. Oh yeah, I really like this thing with, I'm going to add more things to this part, like highlight right here, but I'm going to do that. I really like how it's coming out. Yeah, I really like how it came out. Now I'm going to start doing my eyebrows, and I'm going to use this eyebrow kit, and I'm going to use this Morphe brush that I love. I'm going to start with the cream part. And you always want to do all the cream parts first before you do the powder, because it makes it cakey. And now that I use the powder on top of the orange concealer, and I can see the foundation and everything that I applied on top, honestly, I do recommend doing that, because it does save you a lot of time from waiting for your orange concealer to dry, and it doesn't make it look cakey. I honestly really do like it. We're going to go in with the eyebrows. The eyebrows, I like to do an ombre effect, where I just finish this at the end with just a little bit of product. But I do add cream here, but I just kind of gently tap the hair with the brush. First, I fill in my natural eyebrows. And before I start doing my makeup, I always make sure my eyebrows are like clean so I can do. So after I fill in my natural eyebrows, then I go on top here. I draw a line longer than my eyebrows. And then I go down here and I connect. And I try to make it as thin as possible. And now I do the next eye. The reason why I don't do it so dark is because right now I'm just tracing them, and then I fill them in properly. Right now it's just kind of like the rough draw of what I want my eyebrows to look, which is always the same, because I always do the same process. I fill in my normal brows, boy brows, and then I fill them. Then I make the shape longer, and then I fill them in properly. So I go above here and I trace a longer line, and then I go down here and I connect that line. And then I kind of with my finger clean it out like that. But I don't add as much pressure, so I don't take anything away. I just kind of go back and tap it. Okay, now that I have the rough draw, now I fill them in my brow in with the cream. In this part, like I said, we're gonna do it until the end. And you wanna make sure you take your time, because eyebrows are one of the things that give more character to who you are. So you wanna make sure that they look pretty. And also another thing with the eyebrows, you wanna make them long, because females have their eyebrows are more up and longer than boys. So because you wanna femininize your face, and also like if you do your eyebrows longer, it makes your face look a lot smaller, and that's a good thing. And it's fine if it looks like this because I'm going to clean it. Because I haven't added powder, so I can still... This is the part where you have to be very patient because a lot of people think that eyebrows don't matter, and that's why they do a fast job with them, but they do matter. And if you take your time, your makeup looks a lot better. And like I said, it doesn't matter if they're not perfect because I'm going to clean them and fix them. Okay. I feel like I like how they're coming out, so I'm going to continue. I'm going to clean them even further. So I'm going to use this concealer and I'm going to do strokes up here, and you want to go down right here, there, like that. And you want to leave it alone here because like I said, I like to play with shadows and highlight, and you want it to be highlighted just the brow bone. And I'm going to add just a little bit here just to brighten up this part too. And like I said, today I'm going to take my time doing my makeup and doing it as detailed as possible. And that's why I'm doing this, because this is going to help me perfect that and perfect the line. And I honestly don't care how long this video is going to get. I just want to do a look where it's extremely detailed. But I am going to try to edit this video to make it as short as possible, but without leaving anything out. Make sure that here, I feel really happy of how it's coming out. And now we highlight just here. And we highlight underneath here. And here I'm also going to just slightly tap. And you want to just tap it. You don't want to rub it like that. You want to just tap. I'm just gonna trace back my eyebrows because I feel like this part kind of... Okay, now that I did my eyebrows with the creamer, now I'm going to go with the powder. Okay, now that I finished with the eyebrow cream, I'm going to set my whole makeup with the powder. And I'm using translucent in the parts where I'm highlighting. And I'm going to use this pink powder. Both powders are from Juvia, but I'm mixing them together because one is translucent and this one's more pinkish, which I honestly don't know if the powder is just pink and it's also translucent. I'm mixing it just for fun. So we want to set the whole thing, except the one right here. We make sure we take all the powder out. And before we start putting the powder on our eyebrows, we're going to add powder underneath our eye, just in case of any fallout. And we're going to leave this part baking also. We add a lot of powder here. Now we're going to use the powder part of the eyebrow kit. We're going to give our eyebrows some color. I love this product because it makes the eyebrows so intense and beautiful. And I believe it's cheap, but I don't know exactly how much it is. Like I said, you want to take your time with your eyebrows. And then you really want to make it pointy. I like doing little strokes. I feel like it helps me with my technique. And you want to make sure you fill them all in so it doesn't look patchy. Sometimes the powder, I feel like, doesn't mix well with the cream. But if you were to tap it, it mixes better. Or at least it stays. So sometimes when I'm filling it in and making sure that it's not patchy, the parts that I do see where the cream or the powder is patchy, I just tap it. Because sometimes when you're scrubbing things, it's taking things out. And I don't know if you can tell, but once I tap it, then the color stays. And it doesn't look as patchy. And it doesn't remove the makeup that I have underneath. I think this one's more perfect than this. And sometimes the eyebrow doesn't have to be perfectly even. Just because your face is not symmetrical, for that is to make the eyebrow point. So even if you have to clean it one more time before, again, you'll be fine. You'll be able to do it. And like I said, I am going to take my time and do it as detailed as possible, no matter how long this video is. If anything, I'll just edit it to be a lot smaller. But I do want to make you guys and give an impression of, wow, like that's a transformation. And if anybody wants to learn any tips or learn drag makeup properly, I want to do a video where it's properly done, or at least properly done by me, because there's a lot of makeup artists out there that are really good. So let me not be shady when I don't have to be. I feel like it's not patchy anymore and it's as good as it's going to get. So I'm going to leave them alone. What I am going to do is clean it one more time. I'm going to clean them a little bit just so they're perfect. And I'm tapping because, like I said, when it comes to liquid, it's better to just, I'll go in with the sponge. Now I'm going to go in with this little sponge and tap. And highlighting your brow is always a good idea. Just because, like I said, like you want to feminize your face as much as possible. And there's certain things and certain like highlights and shadows that just help you to do that. And it also depends on the type of face that you have. But when you're a boy doing drag, since men's face are a little bit wider or bigger than women, it's always better to do things a little exaggerated and bigger. Like the eyebrows longer, the lips bigger, and everything more exaggerated just to feminize your face. But the technique I use, I feel like it helps any shape. And I'm not just saying that just to say it because it's me. I'm really saying it because I truly believe it. I feel like the way I'm trying to teach how to highlight your face and use the shadows, I feel like those techniques really do help everybody. And I'm just going to put that out there. So now that we're done with the eyebrows, oh actually we're not done with the eyebrows, what am I doing? I'm just going to use the rest of the product that I have and I'm going to fill in the rest. One thing about Scott Banner is that he doesn't like to do the ombre look for the eyebrows, but that part I do like I do like doing an ombre when it comes to me, just because I don't know, I feel like it makes it look more natural. Or maybe he meant like the ombre that is like exaggerated. And I'm just saying that because he said that in that Tati video that I watched, and when I heard him say it, I was like, ooh. I do my ombre eyebrows, but it also depends on the person. Like, you can't just copy everyone just how they do their makeup. You have to like make it your own. And I like doing the ombre thing. I feel like it works for me. Now we're done with the eyebrows. I am going to go in with my eyes and I'm going to use two palettes for my eye look. I'm going to use this Lord Voldemort palette and this Nagini palette. This Jeffree Star palette and this James Charles palette. So I'm going to start with Lord Voldemort, and I'm going to use this brush and I'm going to go with this pink color right here. And the reason why I'm using Lord Voldemort's palette, it's because it was a gift. Actually, all the makeup I have from him, it's like, so we're going to go in with this really light pink color and we're going to go in here. A good technique you could use for blending is this circular motion that really helps the blending of your shadows. I know that Jeffree Star has a controversial path and you're probably wondering why are you supporting his products, but they were really a gift. Okay, so every time I do my eye, I go with like the lightest color I see, or one of the lightest colors, and I start doing my eyes like that, and then I build up. And today I'm going for a more pink look and kind of make it a little bit smoky, keeping that light fresh color. And one thing about Lord Voldemort is that although she's evil, she really does have good products and they're cheap. This one was on sale. It was a gift. You want to make sure you take your time blending your eyeshadow so it doesn't look rough. And I really like this color. Lord Voldemort really came through with this palette. And the reason why I'm using the two palettes, Lord Voldemort's and Nagini's, is because this one doesn't have the color that I want to use underneath my eye. And so that's why I'm going to use both the palettes. I want to get creative, and like I said, I'm going to make this video as detailed as possible. And Nagini's palette is really colorful, so I'm sure I'll find something there that I'll like. I really like how it's coming. So now I'm going to go into the crease and I'm going to use a brush like this, and I'm going to use another pink color but a little bit brighter, which is this one. I'm going to go into the crease. I know a lot of people are probably thinking, why are you using his palette if you're calling her Lord Voldemort, but she calls herself Lord Voldemort. And this product was gifted to me. I'm not rich, so I'm not going to throw away a palette that is perfectly fine and it was gifted to me. Like, I didn't spend my money on it. And then you might say, well, you're kind of promoting it on your channel. But I'm not famous, so I don't feel like I'm going to do a big impact. And like I said, it was gifted to me, so I'm not going to not use it. But I'm also not going to shy away from talking about something or making it seem like I'm not aware of his controversial past, because I'm fully aware and I do not condone it. So I might as well get a use out of it. And besides, like, let's be real. Everybody's buying his products and everybody is supporting him. We just have to let them know that we don't stand by his statements and we don't condone it as his customers. Because I would consider myself a customer, but not because I didn't buy it, but because I'm using it. But like I said, we're not going to act dumb and act like we don't know what's going on or that we're not aware of his controversial past and the things that he has said that rub people the wrong way. And I actually have no admiration for him. I respect people who understand that there's bread to go around for everybody. And I respect people who don't need to go through ignorance comments. So now that we got that out of the way, I want to make clear also that if I'm saying or calling her Lord Voldemort, it's for fun and giggles and because I'm stupid. And even with this brush, if you do circular motions, it really does help blend out pretty well. I'm going to go back with this color and just blend it a little. And I called James Charles Nagini because I thought it was funny that Lord Voldemort and then Nagini, you know, the snake. And it's just for fun and giggles. And also, I'm not gonna act like I haven't heard rumor of James Charles. I really like how my makeup is coming out, but I'm going to use more colors just because I want to do this eye look as detailed as possible. And remember, blending is key. I feel like it doesn't matter how many colors you use for your eyes, just as long as you take your time and really blend them more. Now I'm going to go in with a different brush and I'm going to use this kind of purple color. Well, actually, yeah, I would say it's purple. So this purple, and I'm going to pack it and I'm going to do taps and circular motions. And I'm going to bring it in, but just to the middle and back. Or I like to do this type of like movement because I feel like it helps with the liner here. And you want to do circular motions to really pack in it. And then just marry the colors up here and bring the color up. I'm not gonna lie, this is such a good palette. And like I said, circular motions really do help for the black it in first because we want to put the most or make it as darker here at the end. And it's because as boys, we want to feminize or make the eye as cat-like as possible. And right now I'm just gonna focus on the blending. And I feel like I'm going to do something pink here and then another light color down here. And I was thinking of something blue, and this one has no blues. And it's the reason why I'm not using this one for the color underneath. But the three colors that I used for my eye up here, I really did like. I'm going to use this light brown right here, and I'm going to cut my crease a little more with it. Yeah, I really do like what it's doing. And the reason why I use a light brown is because I don't want to make it as intense. I just want to make it noticeable, but without making it noticeable. I'm going to deepen it here just a tiny more, and I'm going to deepen it just a little bit more. And I'm going to use a black, but I'm going to use very little product. See, I only tapped it twice, and the reason why I'm adding a little bit of black because it's going to help with with the liner and the lashes. It's just going to make it look sexy. And you just add a little bit just to give it that ombre effect. And you just bring it to the middle. So see how I added the light brown here and now I'm adding in just a touch of black. That helps to cut my crease and give me a little more feminization, and like I said, it's going to help with my liner and my lashes to just make it pop in this dark, beautiful way. and you just bring it up. And I'm going to add a little more black to do this type of motion. And notice how I'm bringing it out like this. And I know it looks crazy, but like I said, it really is going to help. And makeup is a process. If it looks crazy, it doesn't matter because you can always either fix it or you could, or at the end, it'll look amazing. It's just the process. I'm going to use this concealer to cover this part before I add the shimmer part of the shadow. Because like I said, I want to make it as detailed as possible. And even if it doesn't come out perfect, you can always clean it or add more shadow to make it blend. So now that we did that part, so since I'm doing a pink look, I don't want it all to be pink. So I'm going to use this gold shimmer right here, and I'm going to use my fingers to apply it just because I want it to have like a touch of different and not all just be pink. That came out really good. Okay, and I'm going to add some of this like at the bottom, like right here, just to see how that would look. But I'm not going to put it all over, just the bottom part. Actually, I'm gonna put it everywhere. Using your fingers really helps because your fingers have blood streams that are running through them, which makes your fingertips warm, helps you apply it a lot better to your eye. And that's why a lot of companies also in their packaging recommend you to use the tip of your fingers to apply the shimmy part or the highlighter part. And I'm just stacking it because I want it to pop. I want it to, when I blink, for people to go blind. So now, oh, actually, I'm not done with his palette because I'm going to do a little retouch. I always recommend to retouch your makeup after, just because you want to make sure that all the colors pop. We're going to do a little retouch before we continue. I know I already added black here, but I went in with this darker eyeshadow that I had already used, and I'm going to use that to retouch, but I'm not going to add any more black. It's just more to retouch and not overtake the pink look. And I'm going to again retouch my crease, and I'm going to go back again with this one first. Oh yeah, that was such a good. This is like a neon pink. Maybe it looks orange on film because it does look kind of orangey in person, but it's not orange. It's like a neon pink. Also, this is like making the highlight part pink, which actually I'm living for it because it's coming out super cute. And that's all I'm going to do. Actually, I'm not done with my eyes. There's some other things that I like to do before finishing my eyes. We're going to take the powder off of our face and we're going to contour with bronzer. And for bronzer, I'm going to use 3 different products. So the first one is going to be Pretty Bulgur, and then I'm just going to use this shadow right here. And for that, I'm going to apply it with this Kat Von D brush because I like the way it applies bronzers, because I just kind of tap here, but I don't use it for blending. I just use it to apply it. The reason why I use 3 different types of bronzers, as a drag queen and as a boy, I have to feminize my face as much as possible. The only way to really do that is to play with shadows and highlights, have it reflect as having a more feminine face. This bronzer is actually really creamy. And we bring the bronzer down like this, and this is the only thing that I do, kind of scrape it, because you want it to seem like it's cutting your face. But I do like to tap it. I feel like tapping is the best way to apply your makeup. And we cut here, because like I said, I saw Scott Barner do it in Tati's video, and I want to try it to see if it helps highlight my bones. Because, you know, I'm gonna seem skinnier also. And I'm not going to do my boobs until the end because I have to first put everything on so I can know kind of where I want to put the shadow. And I might film it and show you guys how to do that too. Right now, let's continue. And then I like going with a different brush and do this circular motion to blend it. And although this bronzer is more creamy, I don't tap it just because either way works, the brush or the tapping with the sponge, but the brush is a lot faster. So since it doesn't matter or it doesn't make a difference, I don't mind going with the brush. brush just because it is a lot faster. And it's not entirely creamy, it's just a little bit creamy. And if you have that product, you know exactly what I'm talking about. This is my first time trying this trick with the neck, and so far I can't tell if it is working. Maybe once I watch the video, or maybe once I'm done, because it's hard to tell with this little mirror. Now we go back to our face. I just like to go back and make sure that it's well blended. And remember guys, circular motion is the key for a really good blending. If you feel like you need to cover the chin a little more, just bring it up a little. And now we go with our second. Now we do our second bronzer, which is going to be this Anastasia Beverly Hills. And I'm going to be very careful because I have very little product left, and it's like all falling now. And this product is really strong, so we want to use just a little bit and just kind of tap it. And we want to use it mostly at the ends and up here. Like I said, you don't want to apply a lot just because it's a very strong bronzer. And because it's a strong bronzer, I'm not going to apply it here. I'm just going to kind of pass the brush and hope that the residual is enough. Because I also don't want to make it too harsh because it's my first time trying it. And I don't want to go all crazy. But so far, I'm liking how my makeup is coming out. And like I said, Scott Banner has a lot of good tips. And I feel like the way my brother taught me how to do my makeup, it's similar to how he does his makeup. And when I say he, I mean Scott Banner. And you know, you always have to like watch different videos and try different techniques and see what works for you. But my videos are the best. Just saying. I'm kidding. We do our circular motion to contour. And we want to like really get in here just to make sure it's well blended. Okay. And to finish the bronzers, I'm going to go with this last one. And this is one of my favorite bronzers also. And the reason why I love this bronzer so much is because it has this like brown and pinkish tone to it. I feel like the pink helps with warming up the contour. And you don't want to be shy when it comes to bronzing your face. Just because, like I said, you're a man, so you have to play with shadows and femininize your face as much as you can, because the whole point of doing makeup is to look like a female. You also want to take your time blending, making sure your makeup looks perfect. And you might think that this is a lot, but it's not, because you're doing boy makeup and you have to feminize your face. And you might think that I forgot about my nose, but I didn't. The reason why I didn't do it with the rest of my face is because I like to use a different brush. And usually when I go back and forward, I forget to add the 3 bronzers. So because of that, I do my nose separately from my face. So we're going to go back with the Pretty Vulgar. Something I like to do with my nose is do this, like this motion right here. And the reason why I do that is because, like I said, you're playing with shadows and highlight, and this doesn't take away the color from here. It just kind of more, it comes off as a shadow. I like to put some here just because I feel like when you add powder here, it brings your nose a lot more thinner. And you add some here just to get button nose effect. So we want to add some here, and we want to cover here and here. And we want to go in here. Now we're going to go in with our Anastasia Beverly Hills bronzer, and we're going to do the same thing, but that's fine if it comes out too harsh like that, because you can always add powder to bring it a little down. So like that. So we add some here, and we make sure. And this helps my face not look so crazy, because sometimes when you just add powder here, it feels like you just highlighted your nose. But with this, it feels like you're connecting it to your face. And sometimes when you don't add the shadow here, it makes your nose look detached from your face, which makes it look a lot longer, and you don't want that. So there. And I don't want to go crazy with this bronzer because, like I said, it's really strong. And I don't know if it comes in different shades, but this one is the Mahogany powder bronzer. To finish it off, we're going to use this bronzer, which is pinkish. And like I said, I feel like this pink bronzer helps warming up the color. So we want to do this. We want to pack that sides of our nose, and we want to add some here at the bottom. One last thing, I like to add some bronzer down here, and what this does is that it's going to make my lip look a lot bigger and fuller, and it's also again playing with the shadow and the highlight. So this is going to make my lip look like kind of duckish. And this time for the blush, I'm going to use this blush right here in the Pretty Vulgar palette, and this is a face palette, so it has bronzer, blush, and highlight, which I'm going to use all of the products in here today. For blush, I'm going to have to use this brush right here because I dropped mine in the water and it got wet. I'm going to use this brush and I'm going to grab some of it, and we're going to do this face, and we're going to stack the blush right there. The reason why I'm patting the blush like this is because I don't know how this brush will work if I start blending it. So for the blending, I'm going to use this different brush, which is like a little more softer. So I'm lightly using this brush just because these brushes are not as good for blending. Just because they're too compact and hard, and I like to combine the blush with the bronzer. Blush right here, just because I feel like the pink helps warm up. Now we're going to use this highlight color and this one. We're going to combine them to see how, I honestly don't know. No, once again, I'm going to use this Juviasplace for highlight just because I really like how it works. I'm just gonna add this one because I know this one I will love. It just pops. And we add some to our nose. And I like adding some here. I like this highlight because it's very like metallic brown, and I like feeling like a brown. I'm going to cut this part with powder, and we're also going to add more powder down here. Oh no. And as soon as I apply it, I remove it. So I'm going to take it off. And this part is really just to cut it and make sure it's perfect and more feminized, because like I said, you want to make sure your face is feminized as much as possible. So now we're going to use Nagini's palette. We're going to use this light blue. I want to have a lot of color. I'm going to use a different brush for the blending. This brush is just mostly to apply it and to make sure that it's not, the bottom line is not too thick. It is just a little cute here. I'm going to use this brush and we want to do small circular motion. And you might think that the colors just don't go together, because it's like, what are you thinking? You're putting really light blue. But the whole point of makeup is to have fun. It honestly won't look crazy, because once it all is put together and done, it looks beautiful. It's just a process. Sometimes you look, or you feel like the colors are just not gonna go together, but they actually do. And like I said, it's all about being creative. And today I feel like I wanna get as creative as possible. I'm going to use this white eyeshadow, and I'm going to try to make this a little bit lighter. Actually, it's not working. Now I'm going to go in with the eye pencil, and I'm going to do something black just to make my eyes more fierce. We want to be careful with this part. If we poke our eye and then it starts watering, our whole makeup look could get ruined. Now we do the eyeliner, and we want to be really careful because we don't want to ruin our eye look, and we're going to let it dry before we even open our eyes. So let's just be careful with this part, because I always mess it up. Oh, I already ruined that. It's okay, because I'll fix it. Let me, that wing came out so ugly. So I'm going to have to fix my eye a little. So because I ruined this part and this part, I'm going to just blend it in with black and kind of combine it. And this part, the same thing happens. So I'm going to do the same thing, which it doesn't ruin my look. It just makes it different. So I really messed it up. So I had to really go in and clean it. And the last thing I want to do to my eye is to highlight up here. And I know my wings didn't come out perfect today, but it doesn't matter because it's going to get covered by the eyelashes. You know, sometimes the wings just don't come out how you want them. And it's just sad that it was today. And this is just to make it cute. In the inner corners of our eye, we add our eyelashes. Before we put our eyelashes on, we have to add our glue. Before I even put my eyelashes on, I add mascara, but I will do that. So I'm going to use this new eyelashes to do my eyes because the other ones, I just used them too much already. So it's good to like use new ones after you feel like the other ones just are overused or are too dirty to use. Before I even put my eyelashes on, I add glue to them so they will stay there for a long time. And also I add mascara just so when I put my eyelashes on, the mascara helps keep them up and to make my real eyelashes stronger, so it'll hold it up. And I'm going to do that after I add the glue and let my eyelashes dry a little, because if you let the glue dry directly on your skin, it will dry so well that by the time you have to take it off, it will rip off some of your skin, or it will hurt. So you want to like let them dry a little bit, so when you actually put it in your eye, you want to let them dry a little bit, just so when they dry completely, they're not as stuck to your skin as they would be if you apply them directly to your eye or to the skin of your eye, because the skin of your eye is really sensitive. So now we add our mascara while it dries. And we don't have to add the mascara perfectly. You just want to add a layer, like I said, so it will hold the fake eyelash. So we just add a little bit just to bring them up and have them hold our fake eyelash. And we're also going to add a lot more, or not a lot more, but we are going to add more mascara after the eyebrows are ready. So we want to put it in the inner corner all the way down, but you want to put them more up in the outer. And the reason for that is because I have smaller eyes, so if I put them more up, it helps my eye look more open and bigger, and so it won't look like I'm sleepy. I'm telling you, if you wait a little bit for your glue to dry, it does apply well and it gets glued faster. If you put your eyelash right after you put the glue in and you don't let it dry, the eyelash is going to start falling because the glue is not as gooey, or it's not dry yet. So it starts falling because it's liquid. But if you do put it before it dries, it also does get stuck a lot more, just because, like I said, it's liquid. So it's like going into your pores, and when you rip it out, it hurts. So you really do want to wait. And we make sure that our eyelashes are well placed, and you want to wait a little before you add the mascara, because you want to let it dry a little. So my lips, I'm going to use this Morphe lip liner. Well, it's actually an eyeliner and a lip liner. I only use it for my lips. I've never used it for the eye. And we're going to start with the outer corner, and we fill in the corners of our lips. Now we're going to connect them. And now, because my lips are crooked and we're searching for perfection, instead of filling my lips in the way they're supposed to, I'm going to overdraw this part and add a line above here. Now we did the bottom part. And the bottom part, I also overline it, but just a little bit. And we bring it in. So I only overline down here, and then I just kind of like bring the line in. And that's just because I want my lips to just look like this. And one other thing that I like to do is add these little lines that I swear make my lips look juicier. And the lines don't have to be perfect. They just have, I never used this, but I'm going to use this NARS lip liquid just because I always wanted to try it. The pigment is so intense, I love it. No! So if my lips are not drying like I wanted to, or they have harsh lines, I like going with a little sponge, and I don't want to overpass it because then it'll get ruined. And this I will, but you want to just tap the inside, and that helps me remove any harsh lines. And you know what? It's fine to mess up. Like once in a while we'll mess up. What's good is that there's always a way to fix things, and you just want to do little gentle. And now to finish the lips, I'm just going to use this gloss, also from Lord Voldemort, and let me just let my lips dry a little more. Okay, and now to finish, I am going to put my setting spray on, also from Lord Voldemort. Okay, I'm going to change and put my wig on, and I'll be right back. Okay guys, that's the end of the video of today. I hope you guys liked the look. Although a lot of things came out wrong, I really like the way it turned out at the end. And like I said, it's all about like knowing what you're doing and how to fix it. And a lot of times you're going to have mistakes, but all you have to do is stay calm and try to fix it as best as you can. And most of the time with makeup, just like painting, you can like always like fix what you didn't like or what went wrong. You guys see I contoured my boobs to make them a little more bigger. Today I decided to just straighten my wig and just do a simple look. Okay, so I'm just gonna put some jewelry on because I'm going to take pictures right now. And I don't know, I feel like the jewelry is mostly for me to feel the fantasy. I like wearing it. It's so cute to like decorate your body with jewelry. Okay, this is the final look. I really like how it came out, even though I had a lot of mistakes on the way, but I like the way it came out. And I hope you guys liked it too. If you like this video, please like the video down below or comment whatever tip or whatever you would like to tell me. You already got to enjoy a little bit of the look. I'm about to go take pictures, do a little TikTok. So if you want to follow me on Instagram, go to The Real Mary J. Blunt. Follow me if you like to see the pictures that I'm about to take and post. So thank you very much. I hope you guys have a wonderful year. And if you like my content, please subscribe to my channel. And thank you very much for staying all this way and supporting my channel. And one last thing, I would really like to thank everybody who took their time to view my first video, because to me it did pretty well, and I'm really thankful that people took time out of their day just to support me a little. So thank you very much for that. And thank you everyone.
Hey, I'm Mary Jane Blunt and you're watching my channel.